Hello, Collective, and welcome back to another class. Today we are talking about the throat chakra, also known as the Ashas-t. It's also known as the cleansing. Now the color of the throat chakra is white. And when I was looking this up and I was doing studying to find out why the throat chakra would be white, is because it's related to truth. It's also known as the cleansing, but it's also pure. And I talk a lot here where I say like pure light, whole light is the iridescent, the rainbow, but pure light, a cleansing light, is what's mainly known as white. But it can also be blue. White and blue go really well with the third chakra. So, or the Ashas, actually. The Ashas-t. Excuse me. Ashas-t. Thank you. So for the crystals, we have aquamarine, blue quartz, turquoise, blue topaz, chalice D, and Lemire. I don't know how to pronounce these names. Excuse me, Lemire. The metal I found to be iron and also platinum. I was getting platinum first. But the planet of throat is Saturn. That's the planet that governs the throat chakra is Saturn. So that's why I put iron down, because iron also represents Saturn in that sense. The flower, the scent, the smell is blue iris. Blue iris, but when I was looking it up, any blue flower works really well for a scent for the throat chakra, but I found that blue iris was one of the best ones. We have the note, which is G, or 392 hertz. The deity, however you wish to say, of the throat chakra is Thoth, or Tahuti, because Thoth written. When he wrote, he was the creator of language, this creator of the spoken language, this creator of the emerald tablets, of wisdom. The throat chakra has a lot to do with wisdom. When you speak from your throat, you're using a lot of the ib, or the ab, or the heart. And that's where most truth comes out of. When you speak truthfully, it comes from the heart center. Most things you do come from the heart center, but you are raised and taught that it comes from the mind, because the mind is what creates everything. And if the mind believes one thing, it's going to be hard to convince it otherwise. That's the one thing that people have found out, is that humans are stubborn due to the man-made ego that we inhabit by default, by needing to feel, by believing that we feel the need to defend ourselves when we actually don't. But regardless, Tahuti is the governor of language, of the embodiment. You can even say Saraswati even could be a deity for the Ashas-t, but that would be more Hindu, I believe, rather than Kemetic, which is what we're sticking with. But again, this is just talking about the Kemetics. And again, if you have any information about this, whether it's Kemetic or not, please put it down in the comments, because we are here just to expand knowledge, and we're not here to keep things on like a straight path. We're getting a wider view. So always feel free to add your own information to this stuff. It's open, truly it is. And that's the whole point of these classes, because as students, you also are teachers, because you all might know way more about the chakra system, or the Arats system, than I do, or just about it in different cultures. And it's very important for those to be seen, so that you know of multiple ways to heal these chakras, because there's more than one way. Remember this always. The element of this is ether, or space. And I was wondering why that is. And when I was doing that, I found this really neat affirmation And it says the self expresses consciousness in the form of creation. The self expresses consciousness in the form of creation. And how else do you create other than speaking? And then that led me to this in this quote, which is use the gift of words spiritually, which is something even confirmation. I don't know if you can hear the sirens, but seriously, that was what Tahuti taught. That's what Thoth taught, was we use our words spiritually. Our words hold this power. We express ourselves consciously by creating these words, by creating what we deem true, for we wouldn't say what we deem to be true or want to be deemed to be true, depending on where you're coming from, either from the heart, where it's speaking from truth, or it's speaking from mind, where it's trying to create truth. The mantra for the Ashas-t is Ham, or Ham, however you want to say it. Reflexology is the bottom of each finger before it hits the palm, as well as the seventh cervical, which is below the big toe bone, the second big toe bone, excuse me. Some more reflexology. Again, for the right and left hands on the bottom of the finger, for the thumb, will, the right thumb is will, the right finger, pointer finger, is authority, the middle finger, last bone, focus, ring finger, creativity, pinky, power. For the left hand, the thumb, is for motivation. The finger, pointer finger, is confidence, middle finger, concentration, ring finger, inspiration, pinky finger, spiritual. I'm going to keep mentioning these in every video, just so you know, just to keep it running. The gland, though, is the thyroid gland, which shouldn't be too much of a surprise. The emotion that the throat chakra resonates with is creativity. And that brings us back to understanding why it's ether, why it is space that is the element of the throat chakra. Because that is what the throat chakra affects, is space, as space is all around us. But what are we filling that space with? What energy are we filling that space in with? That is the power of the throat, that is the power of the Ashas-t, that is the power of the vocals. The realm of this is the Duat realm, which is the astral realm. Of course, doing these things, especially with prayer, you are talking to the astral realms. You're always talking to the astral realms. Whether you're talking to someone or yourself or something, you're always talking to the astral. You're talking to not only the astral that's external, but the astral that is internal. Foods for this are black plums, raisins, blueberries, fish, asparagus, potatoes, as well as honey. And teas. Sage tea, I found, is really good for the throat, because the throat chakra can be very affected by external viewpoints, just by existing, because you're faced with opposition when you speak. You're faced with not only opposition, but you're also faced with support. You're faced with opinions of others. You're faced with the agreements of others, and that affects the throat chakra if it's not stable and sturdy, because you will change how you speak. You will change your tone. You will change everything vocally based off of the surroundings that you're in. And this is something to be important of, because the sense of the throat chakra is honesty and transparency. Your throat chakra will express the truth and allow you to see the truth. Now, your throat chakra also works in the sense of you typing a message out, because instead of you verbally saying it, you are physically saying it. And some people might not understand that, but when you write things down, that is a power of the throat chakra. That is you using your throat chakra in an external way still. You might be using your hands to be the communicator instead of your voice, but it's still what you and your throat chakra are trying to convey. So don't just think of a throat chakra being someone talking to you. Your throat chakra are also messages that you see. The throat chakra is also affected by what you see. If you see something online that causes you to want to get up and make a speech and talk, it's because it hits your throat chakra. Of course it goes to the heart, of course it goes to the third eye, but they are not doing anything other than giving information to the rest of the body to find out what to do. The throat chakra at any point can take a hold of that. That's why when you are in an argument, people will just randomly start screaming or telling you to shut up and things of that nature. It's because the throat chakra becomes overactive. And an overactive throat chakra is over-exaggeration, fast talking, aggression, changes in the voice. Overactive, underactive both have changings of the voice depending. Just because your voice cracks doesn't mean that it's underactive. Sometimes you genuinely can burn the motors of your throat chakra, which causes your voice to finagle. It's the same reason why when you go through puberty, when you're going through puberty, the voice cracks, you have vocal changes, you have changes in how you speak, you have changes in how you perceive things, which then changes how you speak about things. All of this is relating to the chakras upgrading, relating to the throat chakra especially as well. The area of effect of the throat chakra are the lungs, which should be obvious but not really thought about that much, because when you use your throat chakra, you're also pumping your lungs. That's something that, I don't know, it's like it makes total sense, right? But it's something that not many people pay attention to, because it's like, it's the throat, but it's like, yes, but where does it get that energy from the lungs? It also has the thyroid, the voice stalks, as well as the inferior cervical ganglion. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm going to say ganglion, doesn't matter. But an underactive throat chakra can be someone who's shy, who's nervous. You can have a shaky voice. A fear to speak as well as an underactive. Feelings of lack can also be from an underactive throat chakra, because when you're in lack, it's because you're not verbally saying something. The feelings of FOMO, or being left out of a situation, is a throat chakra issue because you're not speaking up about that issue. Now let's say you do speak up, but then you speak up and it's very angry and very harsh. And it's not that someone else is saying it to you and saying that it's harsh, but you internally know. Right? This is just an example though. And you internally know that you're being that way. You internally know that you're speaking mean. You internally have this meaning to try and degrade or hurt the other person. That is also an underactive and or overactive and sometimes disconnected throat chakra, because you're using that energy to convey a feeling that you're having and putting it on someone else instead. Now, a disconnected throat chakra, you just lie a lot, you have a lot of confusion as well. But a connected throat chakra is truth and clarity. The association with throat chakras is truth, wisdom, and expression. But yeah, I that is very important. If you are having Ashas-t issues, really get honey or tea, or some sort of like dried berry, because they will really help. Being in a white or blue or a light blue, especially light blue, because light blue crystals, any light blue crystal is very good. So fluorite, the crystal of fluorite is really good for it as well. But regardless, it's super important to be aware of that. Also, I'm being called to mention this. Oh my goodness, because I'm having them right now, which is why I feel like I need to talk about them. When you are speaking through spirit and you get the spiritual burps and you get like the spiritual like hiccups and the spiritual yawns and stuff, that is a throat chakra activation. That is parts of your throat chakra shutting off because your throat chakra also holds trauma of being afraid of being judged. So when that happens, you're shedding that off. And it's a literal thing. It's the same thing that when you have heart chakra activations, sometimes your heart might palpitate. Sometimes your heart will just start beating really quick out of nowhere. It's because it's shedding that off. When you're getting headaches or like migraines and stuff, that could be now these could be, please like make sure that you know the difference, like always get checked up and stuff. But if you know for a fact that you're just getting upgrades, then yes, you know what I mean? I'm not like telling you one thing or another. Please, do what you have to do. And if you don't want to go to a doctor, there are plenty of holistic remedies for you to do to solve these issues. Trust me. So regardless, it's just very important to know these things, that because every chakra has a side effect of shedding and growing. But when you talk and your throat stops, that's because it's hit a boundary. When you're talking and you just can't talk anymore, when you know what I mean, like you get choked on your words actually, that's because your throat chakra is still working past that boundary. If you can get past the choking of the word and talk, it helps. But at the same time, it also helps to just not talk, because it might accidentally cause extra stress or anxiety on your end. Based off of the throat chakra sending a signal to the third eye saying, I just heard what I said, and I know that the person across from me, or I can sense and see the person across from me, or however this isn't resonating with what I'm saying. So now I'm getting self-conscious. So be careful of that too. That's also a throat chakra thing. This confidence comes from the throat chakra heavily as well. But a lot of the confidence comes from throat chakra, really, because the throat chakra allows you to give permission to the forces outside of you to work on your behalf or work against you. You know what I mean? So be very aware of these things. It's very fun. I love talking about the soul system. I really do. But as well as Saturn, if all that is created by man will be destroyed by man. So that's another reason why Saturn is the government, governs the throat chakra, as man will speak, and voice has life and death. And the rulings of Saturn is, if you create something, it shall end. So when you manifest, it ends, it dies by coming from the spiritual to the physical. The throat chakra allows and gives access to that realm of the infinite possibility by allowing you to speak what you want into existence. That's why you should be very careful not to say that you cannot do certain things. You can do them. You are unaware. These feelings are not you. These energies around you are feeling this way. The energies around you have this feeling that you pick up on. Why is it that way? It's not you. It's the energy around you. Remember, it's only you until you resonate with it. And when you do, it's not to hurt you, but it's to invite that energy in to heal that energy. That's why, like, when you journal things down and you perceive how silly they are. That's another thing. Like, journaling is very good for the throat chakra, because it allows you to perceive and see what you're really saying. And it's like, wow, this is either very smart and wise and creative, or this is very silly and a waste of my time. You know what I mean? So it's very important. The throat chakra is so funny because it's so integral. We use it more than we think. When you walk, when you dance, your body language is your throat chakra. Understand, your Ashas-t is so much more than your voice. It's your whole body. It's your everything. Anything that you do that speaks to someone is using that throat chakra, the Ashas-t. Very beautiful, very beautiful. Thank you, Tahuti, for coming down and guiding this through, because that's how I just feel the energy of Thoth being here. So thank you so much for being here, Thoth, and thank you all collective as well. Y'all know the drill. Everything's in the description. I love you all so much. Hope this helped. And again, always, if you have anything to add, feel free to add it. And if I ever respond to you, don't take it as me combating you. I don't combat. I always add on. I never disagree or say that you're wrong, because for me to disagree, then that's something that goes against me. I always look at it from a double lens. So never assume that when I respond, it's an aggravation, or it's a comeback, or I'm trying to say that you're wrong or something. I'm giving more of my view to help your view. You know what I mean? So always remember that we're here to learn and teach, not to say that someone's right or wrong. That's like petty bullshit. Okay, but I love you. But I love you all so much. To the moon and back, tenfold and forever, and I will see you later.